Hello, everyone. Can you remember your favorite teacher? What did they do that made them stand out? Were they funny? Kind? Did they ever limit you and tell you you can't do something or you won't ever become something? I know that was a lot to think about, and focus is hard, but I want you to think about the last two statements. Did they ever limit you and tell you you can't do something or you won't ever become something? Focus is a funny thing. It's even funnier if you have ADHD. There's a lot of bright lights in here right now. I'm having a hard time focus. But going through and learning a teacher. Teachers are sometimes the only role model, a positive role model that a student has. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Nicholas. He had a hard time sitting still, being quiet, not talking. And in turn, he was labeled as difficult, disabled. And his mother was told he would not be the type of person to go to college. He would remain challenged for the rest of his life. When I think about those days and all the challenges I was facing, my disability was the least of my worries. Through the shadows of a broken home, growing up in poverty, and yes, a major learning disability, somehow, despite my circumstances, I succeeded. This brings me back to my first part, the power of a great educator. You know, Teachers can be the ladder that helps a student reach the stars. We can mentor and build their success. And through this, somehow, some way, my story is told. There are many stories like my own, many stories different like mine. But if by telling my story and speaking to other students and educators and leaders in education, it inspires students to come up or educators to come up and build students to be better things that they could ever be before, then I'll do so without hesitation and fear. My favorite high school teacher was my French high school teacher. Think Miss Honey from Matilda, but she's French. You see, Mademoiselle saw everything in me others wouldn't or could not because of my disability, because of my background. As a student coming back from different backgrounds, it's hard to see us in certain places. When we're alone and a child doesn't understand what's going on at home, or things are happening beyond their control, it can feel like we're out in the ocean and no one is coming to save us. But a good teacher sees and understands that student. They recognize that. An even greater teacher searches through the wreckage. They find pieces, they clean them, they perfect them, show them what they're worth. That's what Mademoiselle did for me. Soon, I was speaking French fluently. I was meeting my IEP goals and then surpassing them. But what happened to my disability? Wasn't I supposed to not have academic success and succeed? Wasn't I supposed to remain challenged? Not on Mademoiselle's watch. That's not the only intervention a great teacher gave me. There are many more things a teacher can do. As we go through things and we see and we move on, as a teacher myself, I learned what I could teach and build and help my students see. The monsters I speak of, every time I thought, if I just was quiet, if I just learned to behave and stay out of the way, my monsters wouldn't find me. But no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, every time my monsters found me. You see, my teachers taught me to have a voice. They taught me how to speak up, raise my voice, speak out, defeat my monsters. I teach my students to take up space, to do so without hesitation or fear. And I remind them Soon, hopefully sooner than later, the monsters that I speak of are human, and they'll run out of strength and power, and their ability to control you will end. Moving forward, what can educators do to help raise students up from where they are? We can do a million things in interventions, accommodations. But first, let me tell you what happens to Nicholas, because he's here now. Nicholas goes on to college and gets not one college degree, but three. He speaks several languages. Most importantly, out of everything, he understands that the dis in disability means absolutely nothing if you have the power of a great educator behind you. So, what can we do to help students move forward? We can give them extra time on an assignment. We can break things down if they're not understanding, maybe in smaller chunks. We can throw an assignment. Yeah, I said that. Curriculum has form, function, and purpose, but if it's not serving your children, if it's not serving a student, allowing them to grow and progress, what's the benefit? Lastly, if you're an educator, mentor, coach, have influence on young minds and hearts. Take their hands, lift them up, help them believe and see that they could be anything more than they thought they could ever be. We can be great. You just have to believe in us. Thank you.